Get in, nerds. We're playing Victoria 3. We are still basically working on managing our internal affairs this time. Things have gotten pretty difficult politically, but hopefully the 16 million loyalists we'll get from enacting women's suffrage will help keep things chill in the country. We're having a wee rebellion in Africa. We can send a couple of small armies to deal with that. Not necessarily worried about that. Women's suffrage should get going pretty quickly. America, do you not want to be friends with us? Do you consider us a rival? You do. Okay, well, I'm going to stop improving relations here because this is costing a lot of influence, and I want to get higher infamy decay. What about you, Prussia? Do you think of me as a rival still? No. Austria? No. Okay. And then Russia, you do. Haiti wishes to have an alliance. No, thank you. I would rather have you as a protectorate. Trade agreement? Be nice to have you in my customs union. And this is in Costa Rica. Interesting. Lovely. Still not necessarily interested in being in our customs union, but start bankrolling. This would cost us 125 influence, however. New Grenada and Venezuela are having a rivalry. Exile from Bavaria. Oh boy, and things are all just going wild over here. Really, truly wild. Prussia is fighting off a revolution in Poland. I would kind of love it if there was a Poland. It sure would be nice if there was a Poland. And then the suffrage is going to voting. Very good. Denmark. Let's improve relations with Denmark. See if we can't get things back up to good over here. So dealing with internal politics for a bit. You have another uprising. That was a very dissonant moment. This shouldn't be a problem. I think it's time. Let me see. Where are we with literacy? Okay, we're still working on. We're still increasing in innovation, and we're still over our cap, which is absolutely fine. I think I want to get, once we do our next round of military techs and get our navy up to where we want to be at, I want to take a little break to do some tier 4 techs in production. I want electrical capacitors. What I really want's radio. Because then I can circle back and get squad infantry, and that'll be excellent. On the other hand, I also want conveyors, because conveyors and automatic bottle blowers, because those are both great technologies for automation. Conveyors would be really nice. Pneumatic tools would be really nice. Decisions. So we'll do conveyors, then we'll go up to radio, then we'll do squad infantry, and I think by then, NCO training, by then we'll be completely dominant militarily, and at that point we can focus on electric railways. That's the plan. And suffrage should be finishing out pretty soon. Julia Romanilha, I don't know what her plan is after this. French colonization rights, please, please. Colonization rights, please, please. Give me your colonization rights. Give me your colonize. I want your colonize. I want to colonize. Let me colonize you. Thank you. Please, my colonization rights. Oh, Western New Guinea is isolated. That's wild. Build a port. How are my power plants doing? They're doing just fine. Doing just fine. Peasant revolts in Canada. What an interesting situation. Sure would be a great time to steal some more chunks of Ireland, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to continue to have a relaxed time over here. What I really want to do is go to secret police, because that would... Oh, Prussia wants... Japanese shogunate wants a trade agreement. Heck yes, Japanese shogunate. We can have a trade agreement. Sure thing. I would like to improve relations with them, but I'm not going to, because I want to continue to build up a... I'm going to continue to reduce my infamy. And... excellent. And there's women's suffrage. Wonderful. So now that that's finished, there's the destroyer method. And of course, we'll be changing our production method over destroyers. So that's going to cost a bunch more ammunition and ironclads. But that's okay, because we're full of cash. Destroyer warfare. Destroyer and protector. Augustin Bouillet Laperere has made use of destroyer ships in the ongoing conflict, teaching us much about how they're best utilized. So I understand torpedo boat destroyer is the more accurate name. Not at all. I believe they can be designed to destroy all kinds of things. No one will dare attack our convoys now, reduced convoys requirement, or they make up an important part of our fleet's extra navy defense. This is really tempting, but I'm going to go with the defense because warfare text should be focused on warfare. Revolution in Senegal, not concerning myself with that. We're doing very well in terms of radicals and loyalists. We got a pile of loyalists from that whole situation, which is very good. Can't effectively pull the church into the government, although there is a temptation to do that for sure. Julia Romanilha is a feminist. I could put her in charge, but I don't necessarily need to. Now I have some options in terms of changing up my distro power. So what does single party state actually do? So universal suffrage is 20 political strength per vote, 25 legitimacy based on government clout, 110 legitimacy based on votes, plus 1 government size allowance. Single party state is 250 authority, 20 political strength per vote, 100 legitimacy based on votes instead of 110. No legitimacy based on clout, minus 25% government ideology penalty, plus 20% attraction of interest groups in government. Unlocks command economy and women's suffrage. Unlocks command economy. That's interesting. The industrialists will like it. The landowners will like it. The armed forces will like it. The intelligentsia will dislike it. The trade unions will dislike it. The rural folk will very much dislike it. Interesting. I've never seen this before, so I'm considering trying it. I'm honestly surprised that there are not more things we can change. Okay, we can go to outlawed dissent. That will make the intelligentsia really salty. What we can't do is flip off of National Guard over to Secret Police, which is generally... This is really weird. I've never actually started as a country that's National Guard country before. But, it's interesting. It's an interesting situation. It would be really interesting to be a single-party state that's not a republic. But I can't change off from monarchy because I don't have anyone who's not a monarchist, which is fine. Ah. I am tempted to give it a try. It's a 36% chance. Can I get an agitator who will do this? Let me show you the available ones. Petrus, do you want... Huh. Very few. Interesting. You know what? We're going to give it a shot. We're going to see how it goes. This might be a terrible idea, but we'll find out. I'm going to see if this works. I know that there was a situation where we moved, or in one of my other games, where I moved from, or not, I didn't, my friend who was playing, moved from autocracy to single-party state, and wound up in a really bad situation with his legitimacy. But I'm hoping that won't happen to us. Let's just go ahead and build up some railroads as long as I'm chilling today. I set my threshold to 50. So basically what I mean by that is I'm going to build up railroads in states until all of my states have at least 50 excess infrastructure. This is a technique that I developed a while ago while playing as the North German Confederation. I just realized it was the AI, as it were, the free market was just not good at building up enough of a buffer to not have a bunch of states in infrastructure shortage all the time. So I figured the better way to do it is to just do it manually. For Sardinia, I'm going to do ports. Or sorry, that's not Sardinia, that's Corsica. You know what I mean. A few extra government admin and Constantine. Now, we have a lot of power generation capacity. Absolutely overwhelming quantity at this point. So, let's go ahead and get our livestock ranches over to using electric fences. 1.16. Sorry. How much was that? 1.16K. We have... We're going to have about 30 levels of power plants. And they produce 50 per level. So 30 times 50 is quite enough. Let's do it. So that's going to mess up the market for a while. Colonization rates. But hopefully it should sort itself out at some point as we get going here. Yes, we're very close to actually having the power plants built that we want in order to make this happen. Of course you want migration controls. Why would you not want migration controls? Alright. Huh. What happened to you, Austria? You embargoing me again? No. Interesting. Very slowly, we're improving relations back up with Austria. Interesting. The intelligentsia left the movement to preserve universal suffrage. Against all odds, they're actually happy with the government. Bananas. Absolutely bananas. How's the electricity market? It's very weak, but it's improving. As we build up more power plants. Very good. And electrical capacitors is spreading to us, which is also excellent. Where are we in society techs? We're doing just fine with society techs. Oh, you know what? We were going to do a skyscraper survey a long time ago, and it just never ended up happening. Let's go ahead and do it. It's going to cost a bunch of infrastructure, a bunch of bureaucracy for a while, but then we'll get a skyscraper out of it, and that'll be fun. Just going to go ahead and read this entry here. Our architects believe that innovations involving steel frames and concrete would allow the building of buildings taller than ever conceived before. We've authorized a survey to identify the best possible site to lay the foundation. So that'll be fun. It's going to get us a big old skyscraper. A big, tall building. The biggest building anybody ever asked for. Bigger even than many people asked for. A building bigger even than many people asked for. On the whole. I'm going to drop government wages back down again. It shouldn't be a problem. And that should weaken the intelligentsia just a little bit. Interesting. Weaken French action as well. Neat. Nah, we want to have higher authority. Try and keep my authority high. How are things in Munster? Small amount of unemployment. Not doing too bad. What about the Algerian departments? We're at 13% French in Oran, 13% French in Algiers, and 9% French in Constantine. That's very good. That's very good. We're doing well overall here. We're doing what we want to be doing. How's the market? Still don't have any opium. Could be time. So we do have an electric sawmills production method available, which would increase this. So currently I have 21k. We want 34k. Going to electric sawmills would increase the output by 17k. Not enough qualifications to fully staff. That's all right. We would need to export a lot of this excess wood, because we would have excess wood. And of course we need to produce the necessary amount of electricity to actually run the damnable things. But still, could be a very productive endeavor. Oh my gosh, it's going to be 11k electricity to switch over to the better urban center method. Oh, that's really brutal. Still, if we did just the one in Ile-de-France, that would only be 390 electricity. That's still so much. It's making it more productive, though. We'll go slow here. We'll go slow here with this conversion. Laws in drafting. Interesting. Muhammad Alaeddin. Very cool. I'm actually deeply fearful that this is going to completely backfire and I'm going to wind up into a situation where nobody is interested in being in the party and the government, and then everything is funny and sideways. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Interesting. Someone in our market wants to use a telephone for government administration. Wonder why that would happen. If we go to modern port, that'll consume a bunch of oil, but it'll output a lot more convoys. Let's do it. So that should increase demand for oil. I've been kind of struggling with getting demand for oil up. See, fertilizer is so cheap already that, like, I don't want to switch over to the more productive production method for chemical plants, because I don't want... I'll probably do it when I get an even better, even more, when I get to chemical fertilizers. But I don't know if I will, because I don't know if I'll implement that, because I don't know if I'm going to have enough like, the wheat market is still really, really weak. Flip the paper mills over to water tube boiler. Will that make them more productive? No, it will not. What about the furniture manufacturers? 1K tools and 1K coal. See, coal is still so expensive that nothing... I often find this in the late game, that nothing adding the use of coal is good. It's really hard to get enough coal to do anything. I feel like these are going really slowly, but maybe I'm just not used to improving relations with countries that don't like me that much. How is our infamy level? Still at 31. It's going to take about one more year for us to get to the point where we're not infamous anymore, and I think we'll be doing really well when that finally happens. Dang, colonization here is actually going really slowly. Oh my god, our interest fell off. This frickin' game. Sometimes interests fall off, and it's just, there's no explanation for it, and don't even know what happens. I can't believe this. I've been trying to get these areas colonized for... I've been working on these colonies this whole time. I don't know why that just turned off. Ugh. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being very salty at Victoria 3 right now, but the fact is, I'm just... It's just... Sometimes I feel like the game is not... Things happen for no reason. It's not that the game doesn't tell you when things happen, it's that there's no explanation for why they happen. Like the interest's falling off. Like there's no reason to do that. Oh. The movement for migration controls has become revolutionary. You could just live. Like, I'm doing a thing over here. I don't know. We're going to try to rush single-party state, and if this doesn't happen... Like, I'm not against migration controls, guys. It's fine. It's really fine. Just trying to subjugate New Grenada. You infamous. You are. You're very infamous. But you're not infamous. Transfer Hesse. Where is Hesse? This country. New Grenada, I don't wish to fight you. I'm still going through political instability here. I'm still going through political instability and trying not to have everything go absolutely buck wild in my country. So we're just going to leave that be for now. Yeah, Russia's got it. I don't know, friends. I'm tempted to just bail on single-party state and enact migration controls. I feel like this isn't that big of a deal. Prussia backs down. Interesting. The rebel's doctor. A doctor in Auvergne-Limousin has been caught aiding wounded dissidents and revolutionaries. His aid isn't just helping his patients, but it's emboldened the entire rebel movement. The doctor's defense attorney leaned back, nursing a small headache. The medical man had proven impossible to work with. His attempts at defense had just dug a deeper hole for himself. His waffling was painful, and his refusal to trust his counsel or even his kinsfolk had ruined his chances of getting a lighter sentence. His persistent denial served only to make his name mud. Investigate the medical profession in Auvergne-Limousin for sympathizers, or the one doctor was obvious. So this slows down the civil war, or the one doctor was obviously a lone wolf. There's no need to follow up on this. So, if we investigate Auvergne-Limousin, this makes where is Auvergne-Limousin? All the academics here, 20% of the academics here radical. Of which we have 6.69k, as opposed to 2% of all the academics in France. I'm going to go with the academics in Auvergne-Limousin. See how this goes. You know, ultimately, this revolution situation seems silly. I wish there were a way to tell my interest groups, hey, dial it back. We're doing it. Well, happily, at least going this way, we're colonizing way faster than the Prussians. So hopefully we'll be able to overtake them to get the territory we deserve. Do a promotion. Rural folk demanding the promotion of Brigadier General Guillaume Fernerot. I'm going to do this. Hopefully that'll make them happier. Slow things down a bit. Oh boy. It did, and now the trade unions are support. Okay. Dial it back. The streets alive, condemning the efforts of the Republican Party to establish a single-party state, protesters largely affiliated with the rural folk have begun a multi-day occupation of the streets and cities across Ile-de-France. The streets of Paris were a sea of voices, slogans waxing and waning as the organizers conducted their chorus. Their voices would echo through the streets, reverberating through windows, reflecting in the badges of the policemen which formed the lines in front of them. Tonight, the streets of the French Empire were alive. But something could be seen in the eyes of every professor, protester, grim determination, and the fear that this night would be the last. Call upon our loyalists to demonstrate support. The industrialists become more loyalist, the rural folk become more radical. Anti-party protests reduce enactment chance by 15%. Industrialists get party loyalties for 2 years, which makes them stronger and increases their interest group approval. Such things demand the truncheon and little else. Reduced enactment chance by only 10%. 10% of rural folk pops, and the Ile-de-France become more radical, but it makes them much weaker, minus 10% interest group political strength. Or we must spend more time educating the people on our system. Reduce smallest penalty to enactment chance, reduction to enactment time. I'm going to go with this last one. Because I'm going to bail on this. I don't want to have a war over this. Vultures upon a purpose, opportunistic members of the Catholic Church have defected to the rural folks' cause. So be it, try to coax some back. I'm going to try to coax some back. It's going to cost us some bureaucracy. But, again, because this isn't worth. Instead, let's go ahead and do this migration controls thing and see if that helps everyone relax a bit. And again, this should give us a big bump in loyalists. And hopefully that should help things out. With that having been said, we've finally reached 1900. It is the last third of the game. We've come a long way, but it's time to put a pin in the episode. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you all on the other side.